everybody, Faceless here, and I thought I'd bring you a little treat after you've already had your trick. This is called the Tale of Creek's Grove Phantom. It has come to be known that Creek's Grove carries a ghastly curse to the living and finally the dead. That being said, we have our own version of the Superstition Mountain Range. Creek's Grove is just the bottom entrance to Antonwick Barrel Mountain, covered with a mass of trees, boulders, lethal hides, unknown creatures, spirits, portals, and supposed golems. It is not just seasoned mountain climbers, mountaineers, hunters, but just anyone who seemed to stay at the Creek's Grove for too long. The instances and situations vary, with stories being told. Every single one of them mentions some kind of phantom rising from the Creek's Grove Lake by animals, wretched horrors and creatures of the past, present, with possible beings from not so far off future. The disappearance is always over-explained by these factors, saying more and more hideous things roaming its lands, some of them being ancestors we have stumbled upon their sacred sites inadvertently, again forever adding more to the curses stacking upon an area now filled with putrid sin, being inadvertently by bloody excuses passed around with good intentions. Now, with every instance of winds we hear howling, screaming pleas, help, some vowing vengeance, other condemning their once revered and beloved gods and goddesses. I was unfortunate even to see such a thing, more rare to be caught in its grasp. Finally learned the truth for me would be much better gargling a bottle of the finest of brandy while still feeling that sickly warm feeling. Whilst waking up, I noticed the exact feeling. I could smell the stench of stale air, limestone bones, finally what seemed like rotten scales, hearing noises. No, not noises, melodies. What I saw next was horrific as beautiful. Many scale-clad beings with harps, lyres, pan flutes were here, and it was such a beautiful sight, but again, so terrifying. I made the mistake of walking in, complimenting the plain. All at once, they turned half of their bodies, being submerged in the cave's inner lake. Something huge connected to each of them. I got to see what it finally was. The water turned the deepest of blues to black, green-smelling decay and disease. All the heads came out, the real heads of these rotted aquatic things that once looked like dragons, with clumps of flesh falling off. As I was finally snapped out of it, the water claws emerged. The stink was putrid. Then the rest of the body, I heard a giant snap. The rotten scale dragon let out a huge bellow. The backside came up, floating, as it seemed buckled down under its own weight when I heard it. The loud whispering all around me is saying, "This is the phantom with its power. We give you, strike it to its core, end its reign." I already had a bunch of knives and an axe with one big sharp machete. Something deep within me drove me to jump higher than I thought. All of my weapons fell in the water. Thinking I was done for, a giant lance came shooting up into my hand. It was burning with a bright blue light. It melted away some of the skin, exposing the dragon chest. Its image was starting to distort into nothingness. I saw a black greenish crystal with a terrifying face chanting an unknown tongue. As I was coming down, I aimed it right at the crystal. It went through, it hooked it on the other side, and I gave it a huge yank. It did not have the strength. It let out another sound. The chanting stopped. A black fog came out, with a single yell, saying, "You have not conquered the mountain. There are more of me." I smashed it with my fist, making a bright blue shine. Now the lance broke back down to my current gear. Yet, I now know I can summon it at will in my times of need. I destroyed the phantom, but what is it I face now?